listening to the MycoGeeky Podcast.
All right, what up, Geeky Gang? Welcome to another Myco Monday night on the MycoGeeky Podcast, the podcast that goes deep so you can level up your at-home mushroom cultivation game. I'm your host, MycoGeeky, and tonight we begin our coverage on the MAPS Psychedelic Science 2023 conference with a friend of the podcast, Gary Heferle of Fresh from the Farm Fungi. The Psychedelic Science 2023 conference was held on June 19th through the 23rd in Denver, Colorado, and featured 22 sessions and events covering advances in the potential therapeutic applications of psychedelics. The MAPS conference was a sanctuary of knowledge, fostering a community of researchers, visionaries, enthusiasts committed to unraveling the mysteries of psychedelic substances. This year's event was pretty much nothing short of extraordinary, with groundbreaking studies showcasing the therapeutic potential of psychedelics for mental health issues, trauma healing, and personal growth. You know, but the real magic lies in the people who champion these transformative plants and substances, paving the way for a better future. So in tonight's episode, we have a very special guest, an up-and-coming cool kid in the psychedelic world, Casey Strange of Basement Culture. Her journey is as fascinating as the fungi she cultivates. She's proving that women are at the forefront of the psychedelic revolution. With her unique insights and dedication, Casey is helping shape a more inclusive and diverse psychedelic landscape within our community. Also want to give a quick shout out to the homie, Chaotic Shamanism. He sent me this, man, this thing makes a statement, right? You're going to see me wearing this here in the very near future. So shout out to him. And yeah, let's do this. Let's get going. Grab your headphones, grab a beer, do whatever you're going to do. And, you know, Myco Monday night starts right now. Here he is, the man of the hour, Gary Heferle of Fresh from the Farm Fungi. What's up, dude?
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, it's a beautiful summer day here in Sedalia, Colorado. So we're finally full-time moved in at our farm. We just had our 4th inspection of the year, and that went smoothly. So
like you just had it, right?
Yeah, like and 2 hours ago. So the county came over, they did a tour of the facility, and everything is spick and span. So it's a nice sigh of relief until next year. And you know, I mean, nothing was out of the ordinary, but it's always a pretty stressful day. So I appreciate you being flexible with me getting on here.
Hey man, this pre-recording this stuff is great now, because it's not just this looming moment where we're about to go live, and so that intimidated a lot of people. A lot of people were not comfortable with that, whereas now they're like, sure, yeah, let's do this. But from the perspective of just guys like you who are really busy running businesses, this is, you know, we can move it around, you know, whatever works. Cool. We planned today didn't work. It's all good. Eventually we get it in the can and people can watch it. So it's working out great. All right, dude. So you were one of the first to actually mention to me, hey, I went to MAPS. You know, you want to talk about it? And I said, I do, but I want to talk about it on the podcast. So let's do it. Tell me, I want to hear like why you decided to go. I know you've gone to Telluride a few times and enjoyed that. So tell me like thought process and then let's just hear like your initial thoughts.
Yeah. So probably about a year ago at this point, I saw, maybe it was an Instagram account or something, and it was called the Mushroom Summit in Denver, at the Denver Convention Center, which is a very large venue. They usually have like the ski and snowboard expo every springtime, where I go and pick up discounted, you know, brand new products. So I
brand new products to shred, right, Gary?
Oh, yeah.
You just shred them things.
That's one of my favorite things in the off season, is going snowboarding. Anyway, so I knew in my head like that this was going to get huge. So I signed up for the Mushroom Summit, and then maybe in October, the people that were running it reached out to me and they were like, okay, well, this has been gaining a lot of momentum, so we are going to kind of divide this convention into two halves. So there is the Mushroom Summit, and then there was the PS 2023, which stands for the Psychedelic Science 2023 convention, which was hosted by MAPS. So somehow this Mushroom Summit evolved into two separate
Oh.
conventions. And I talked to the woman on the phone for probably about 45 minutes, just diving in into making my decision because I had already paid for a booth there, and I just wanted to know what the difference between the two conventions. So the Mushroom Summit was more of a business to business summit. So a lot of people, brought their wholesale mushrooms and they were looking for people to make tinctures out of them or whatever. And then the last 3 days, which is what I ended up deciding to vend at, was the Psychedelic Science convention, which was mind blowing. It was the first ever convention here in Denver that was devoted towards psychedelic science. So it wasn't just mushrooms, it was also MDMA and ketamine therapy, which, I'm all for freedom and opening up your mind, and especially with mushrooms and psilocybin. So even though I'm not like a psychedelic mushroom grower, I thought it would be a good opportunity to show off my brand and just meet everyone involved in this community. So I decided to just carry over my booth into the later portion of the convention, which was a really good decision. I'm super happy that I went there. I ended up being right next door to Moms on Mushrooms, which they had this beautiful stand with like all these lights and like a vine and like a beautiful booth, and then my little table, which was just like my farmer's market setup. But
But Gary, you already know moms are going to outdo you every time, right? Then PTA moms, you can't keep up with that.
it
Yeah.
definitely was cool to see all the different setups, and I love the competition and the atmosphere of the mushroom world. So I'm like, next time I'll step up my game, but I just wanted to be there. And yeah, I had my friend help out at the booth while I could network around, and I got to meet all these cool people, and I have this big bag filled
Oh,
with
dude,
goodies.
let's see the goodies.
Yeah,
What'd you
so the
get?
first one is just kind of my proof that I was there. So that's
I
my
believed you anyway, Gary, but now it's
yeah.
official.
So
Well, you got to start collecting those and do the photo at the end of the year of all the conferences you went to.
yeah, and I don't know. I just really enjoyed my time there. My cousins were in town, so it was kind of a blur because I had a lot of late nights, but I was there, all 3 days, and
Nice.
yeah. So anything that you want to ask in particular, or else I could just kind of go through this goodie bag and
Yeah, we'll do the goodie bag, but how about this? Like, so I've seen some of the photos. Of course, I've seen some videos of the Paul Stamets presentation. It looked like I was at the Beyonce performance for the Grammys. It looked real spectacular, right? Like,
oh yeah.
quite a show. So, were you present for that event?
So funny story is yeah, so I was caught up networking, and I was sprinting down towards the Belco Theater, which was it's connected, it's adjacent to the convention, but there's
Okay.
this big hallway that's like a quarter mile long, and I was running to get there, and then I ended up seeing like this big gathering in the hallway, and lo and behold, Paul Stamets had finished his speech already, and everyone was boarding him to like get autographs. So I was bumping shoulders with him, but I didn't get to see his talk. However, I had seen him speak a bunch of times previously at Telluride, and then at the CU Denver. So it should have been a priority of mine, but I missed it. But after that, there
It's
was
all
the
good. It's all
yeah,
good.
there was the Aaron Rodgers
Okay.
or speech, and that was a really inspiring talk about. They mostly talked about like ayahuasca and just how the psychedelic therapy helps. And his speech was, I think it was called like 5 ways how psychedelics help in performance, so athletic performance. But it was really inspiring just to hear like a top athlete talk about going into these extreme journeys. I've never done ayahuasca, but how he described it was, mushrooms on steroids, basically. And yeah, so
Steroids on steroids.
yes,
On
so
steroids.
he spoke with the owner from, I want to say, like the AG supplements or something
Okay.
like that. I don't remember, but I do remember it being very inspirational, and he talked about how it helped him um, bond with his teammates, which was
Hmm.
kind of unique. So it sounds like there's a lot of NFL players that are, opening up to these other forms of therapy, whether it's, the ayahuasca or mushrooms or even the ketamine therapy. There's a lot of ketamine clinics that's legal here in Denver.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that was a big area of discussion. But yeah, I'm kind of sad I missed out on the Paul Stamets talk, but I know that he did a good job, and just his aura in the in the hallway there.
He gets
I
you
hope,
excited. Yes.
yeah, I felt it rub off on me.
Nice. Very
Yep.
cool. That I mean, that's, if nothing else, his gift is, oh dude, getting
There's a
attacked over there by
yeah, there's some wasps on my deck, but
killer
sorry about
wasps
that.
from outer space over there. That's the spirit of Paul Stamets
Yeah.
coming to greet you through a hornet.
Let me move this candle because I feel like,
It likes the candle, you think?
yeah, there's
Maybe.
like a nice wasp nest in there.
All right, guys. Hopefully he doesn't get attacked by a hive of wasps. I do not want to watch Gary go into an anaphylactic reaction on his.
I'm not
his
allergic,
deck right
but
now.
it's annoying.
This is good. This is
Right.
in Hollywood screenwriting. This is called the Pope in the pool. This is like the extra little part that just keeps it a little more exciting, Gary. It's all good. I couldn't pay for this. This is wonderful.
All right, I'm gonna keep rolling.
Attacking hornets. All right, so I had not actually had any idea there was going to be so much vending and so much product. So I think one of my initial reactions after it transpired, after I started seeing footage from people who went, was, oh, this was like a real product driven event that, is sort of, I don't know what the word would be, sort of not distracted by, but using these big guys like Paul Stamets, or people talking about, I'm in the NFL, I use mushrooms or ayahuasca, and this is how great it is. How fluid was that? The sort of the link between the commercial and then the inspirational? Like, was it just, I don't want to, like, did it feel authentic? Because you can authentically be a business and authentically connect with an inspirational person that can then become a spokesman for you. Or it can just be all business and it can be real fake and a lot of baloney. I'm just curious how well those two agendas merged.
Yes. So the powerful aspect of psychedelic mushrooms is I feel like it kind of breaks that shell down.
Mm-hmm.
So you could tell the authenticity of
Right.
these speakers. Some of the companies that, were very like, I don't know how to say it, but there was a few companies where you could tell that none of those people had experienced, a psychedelic
Wow.
state, and
Right.
it was a like they stuck out like a sore thumb.
Okay.
Where then
Okay.
I would say 90% of the vendors there was veteran owned,
Right.
booths, and there was real like grassroots people there. And for
Awesome.
the most part, it was very inspiring to see, where this movement is headed. So I would say that 90% of the participants were very genuine.
Cool.
It was very uplifting to see, like I said, like Aaron Rodgers, who's this big name in sports, open up about his experiences with ayahuasca. I don't want to speak for him, but what he described during his talk was very, you know, um, it was unfiltered. He
Right.
said, all the different times that he had gone out and went with his colleagues, how they had cried together, and it was like an emotional breakthrough for someone who, being like an NFL player, I feel like you have to be like very reserved and almost like a soldier. But
Right.
then hearing someone like that talk about how they got through their childhood traumas and some of the pressures of being in the
Oh God.
spotlight.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't even imagine like
Yeah.
what his psychedelic journeys were like. But I would say that from all the people who were there, even with lots of money and investment backing them, the person who is leading the way was a very genuine person. And
Nice.
I think that it was like a super pulse of this movement of the freedom of exploring your mind and alternative therapy, like the counter to big pharma.
Right.
I think that just being able to heal after this weird time, like during the pandemic, it was like a pivotal moment in my life. And I feel like just the city of Denver and a lot of people that came from LA and Michigan and all these other movements that are starting to pop up all over the country is kind of like this main hub where I can foresee not like copycat conventions, but just um, furthering the progress of this one pivotal moment, which was the PS 2023. So yeah, I would say it was similar to when cannabis became legal. I went to the Cannabis Cup. Is very similar to that. A lot more professional, I would say. There wasn't, people just blazing blunts in the middle of the convention center, but there were, some nice samples here.
Yeah,
So
dude. Let's see some of the people who impressed you over there.
yeah, so this is One Up. They were given samples of this artisanal chocolate. It's like a ice cream cone filled with vanilla chocolate. Then we've got, the typical like Wonka bar type chocolates by Magic.
God, Gary, just pop that in your mouth already. Jesus, it's gonna melt out there.
I could try it out,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
honestly.
You don't have to ingest it
All
right
right.
now.
But yeah, so then there's this other brand called Polka Dot, which they're
Cool.
allegedly a pretty big brand in that world. Um,
I mean, I thought I was in that world, but I don't know about them. The world's bigger than you think, Gary. It's big. Plus with mind altering substances, the multiverse of all that, it's immeasurable.
Yeah. So, and then I want to give a shout out to Spore Light, who traded me. He traded me hats there, so I was stoked on meeting him. And he does a lot of work with genetics, so it was cool to be talking with him. And he had figured out a way to cultivate um, chaga mushroom in vitro. So I don't know if anyone else is doing that, but me and him had a really good conversation about that. I know that
Wow. I thought that had to be found out and about. I didn't. Yeah, crazy.
yeah, so that was a
Nice.
pretty eye-opening moment.
Might have to
I
reach out to old Sporelight and see if he wants to talk about his chaga.
definitely hit him up. Then yeah, I got to meet the people over at Miraculux. They gave me some sample test kits, so that
All
was
right,
kind of cool. And there
Gary,
was
you got to
yep.
see if your oysters just got maybe a little tiny bit of psilocybin in there.
Oh, that would be cool. But yeah, yeah. So I would say like networking with all of those people coming together in one community. We got to kind of give each other feedback. Um, there was a company that had uh, an HPLC setup, and it was interesting to see. There was a big debate about whether or not liquid cultures had any psilocybin. So they had an HPLC machine set up right there in house, and we had tested a few different samples, and it was interesting. So people that claimed that their LCs were fresh, they did not register on that HPLC, but then I believe that there was some later samples that popped up. Um,
But now
I
my understanding is sometimes it's detectable, and it depends upon you know the cultigen and all that kind of stuff. But it's
mhm.
still a pretty minuscule amount.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's
it was
it's
interesting because
tiny.
I always had the question of if you could just make a big bioreactor, like is that going to be the future of, you know, production for like some of these big pharma companies? But I feel like they already have GMO organisms. I wish I had the
God, they're just gonna
actual.
use E. coli to make this stuff. They've already done that. They don't.
Yeah, I
Watch
want
out,
to see
guys.
if
Dude, Gary is just getting swooped. These hornets are coming in like jet fighters and just.
I'm sorry, dude, if I'm ruining this
No,
podcast, but
no, it's great.
I feel like I just moved their nest.
I mean, I don't know what you did, but where you're at is where they're trying to be.
Yes.
They are trying to
So
be your
shout out to
friend.
this company though. Uh, it's called OP Light Lab 3. So this was that HPLC. It fit in like a briefcase. Um, but
It
I don't know
fit in
what
a
to do about this
briefcase.
right now.
I didn't even know. That's okay. We can. I mean, you're.
Oh,
You know, we'll cut it off before you die. How about that? Before your tongue swells up and we got to intubate you.
yeah. Let me go grab some bee spray because I
Cool,
can
man.
take care of this in like 5 seconds.
All right, go for it. Go for it. Go for it.
All right. I'm sorry about this, dude.
That's fine. I can edit it, dude.
All right. All right. Hold on 1 second.
But I'm not gonna edit it, guys. We're just gonna watch Gary attack the bees. For you bee lovers out there, right? We're not killing bees. We're killing wasps and hornets, the assholes of the insect world. So let's not look at. There's one right there. He knows. Yeah, he is in. Man, his camera must be giving off some sort of electromagnetic, seductive vibe for these hornets. Maybe that's what it is. How about that view, guys? Do you see? Gary has got a killer view. Now, the sad thing is he's too busy growing mushrooms and running his Etsy and breeding projects and doing YouTube videos and building yurts. He doesn't have time to enjoy it quite so much. That's why I try to get him on the show every once in a while, just to get him back out on his deck and enjoying, you know, the important parts of life, which is just to sit down and get attacked by hornets.
All right. I've got like a half a can of this stuff.
Do it.
I'm going to try to do some work here.
Okay, we're going to pick up on a hornet tech from Gary here, guys. This is a top secret hornet tech. Gary, you should just sit down and do the show and just like occasionally just spritz hornet spray around your face.
All right. I found the hive over there and I hit that.
Okay. Nice. Well, we talked
maybe
about
it'll be
how
entertaining.
Yeah, we talked about how I don't have any shorts, so might this instead of hitting the cutting room floor, we might be using some of this. We'll see.
Oh, Jesus.
You're doing better than me, man. I'm like I would have just immediately stomped down that hive out of just pure and complete anger. I was saying earlier, you know, hornets, they are absolute assholes.
Yes. I wouldn't mind like regular bees, but I think so what happened was I had this little candle, citronella candle thing, and then they built a hive in the top. So I just moved it over. I moved it over there, and now they're all coming back from wherever they go to.
Oh, dude. So yeah, they're just like, wait, Gary's not our hive.
Yeah, they're returning. Maybe if I like move over there a little
Oh
bit.
man.
I'm sorry if I'm ruining this.
No, it's all good. We will use some of this.
All right.
And maybe not all of it, but some of it.
All right. I'm
It's all
calm
good.
again. It's all good.
That's it's fantastic.
There is some more interesting stuff in here.
Yeah, let's
though.
see. Let's see more.
So I met the guy from Far West Fungi. One of the brothers was
Okay.
vending, and I had a good convo about these black bags. So they have these black grow bags. Um, it's called a T35T black,
Okay.
and he
T35T black.
yep, and they actually make these. Um, so as an alternative to unicorn bags or some of the Chinese bags, they claim that it reduces side pins, especially with the black pearl king oysters or um, like the piapinos,
Mm-hmm.
which those are notorious for having side pins. Um,
Now, did you see any compelling, photographic evidence?
so yes, but the weird thing is that I didn't get to see like someone grow them side by side and then open up the black bag and see that there's no side pins. So that's the biggest question. I was even thinking about doing a video comparing the two, but if anyone is interested, they do offer those black bags now. Um, and then they gave me this test some grain spawn to
Cool.
shoot some cultures into there, and then they got these cool bag clamps instead of a heat sealer. But
Nice.
yeah, so I just left with a huge bag of stuff, and then these guys were really cool too. Morningstar Myco.
Okay.
They had this substrate additive, which there was a lot of evidence at their table, and then they had these really cool mushroom like air sealed containers,
All
but
right.
those are already filled up, so I'm gonna leave those out of here, and then a lot of stickers. So
Oh yeah.
that's kind of my goodie bag right now. But
Nice, man.
yeah.
Yeah, those bags will be interesting. My initial thought is it seems to be operating on a premise that's been debunked, from a while back, which was the belief that the dark liner was a light thing and not just a grab in the cake thing. So I'll be curious to see. Now I feel like, look, they're all in on it. They've made the product. They hired some Chinese company or they bought a bunch of machines and they
Oh
made
yeah.
it. And
And they're like 3 generations in mushroom farming. So I had a really good conversation with him because we're going to be putting in some new electric here. So he convinced me to go a little bigger than I had planned. And it was interesting hearing the perspective from someone who is like a third generation mushroom farmer compared to someone like me who's just starting this whole business, and hopefully I would be able to pass it on to my grandkids in the far future, but to hear his perspective and where his dad took it and now where those three brothers are kind of taking over the California region, and just his support for new farmers like myself was very inspiring.
awesome.
Sometimes I think of these people as like these faceless entities, but then meeting them, in person and asking them questions about, have you had problems with blotch and what do you do to mitigate that? And just like, yeah, just kind of projecting out the growth of my business and
Right.
hearing his perspective of, traveling the world and seeing all these other mushroom farms. It was cool to talk to someone like that. But
Perspective, man, it's very
yeah,
valuable. It's priceless. Yeah.
yeah. So it was like a whirlwind. Like it felt like just minutes before where I was getting swarmed with hornets. It just felt like that at
Right.
this place, just like information being bombarded at me. But
So I
yeah,
have a question for you.
yep,
So you're at a psychedelic conference
yep.
with your gourmet mushroom business. How were you received? How was the interest from that basically a cube community, or at least business entities trying to get involved in that sector? I'm curious how the interest was for you.
So I know that previously on this podcast, I already said, you know, I'm I'm probably not going to grow cubensis mushrooms in the future, But what I could offer at my farm is what I was kind of, gathering information was to create like a mushroom mecca here. So
I like it.
if people wanted to, do facilitate their own journeys, I was just gathering information about what it would be like to put up some geodesic domes or like little yurts on my property, and then have a psychiatrist come in and give people a chance to, experience their own adventure. I would love to be able to host that and offer the space. I love, gardening and growing mushrooms, and I feel like the energy of my property you know, would help facilitate those positive
I
vibes.
love it.
So that's kind of yeah, so that's kind of what I was there for, minus the bees. But yeah, um, so yeah, I feel like I got to network with a lot of really professional psychiatrists, and there was a booth that they had like a whole list of psychiatrists that already put themselves out there as like facilitators or shaman or whatever they would call themselves. But to see these like, PhD or doctors like, risk their reputation even,
Wait a
and
minute. Wait,
yeah,
what? It's
yeah,
it's as if that hogwash we've been fed for decades is just not true. And that real legitimate people who've experienced this medicine, drugs, medicine, whatever you want to call it, all medicine are drugs. Many drugs can be medicine. So, yeah, that shift is fascinating. I know when I went to spread the spores, it was almost surreal to just see it out in the open, right?
yeah.
Talking about it and being like, yes, I grow mushrooms and I have these genetics. And I was like, wow, this is what it's going to be like soon. It's going to be as freaking normal as taking a Tylenol,
Sorry
descending
again,
off.
I'm getting the third wave of bees coming in.
They're getting off the clock right now. They're taking their lunch break.
Oh, I got one right out of the air. That was cool.
It's the simple things in life that bring us joy. Murdering hornets. That is a great pastime.
I'm out of juice now, so I'm
Uh-oh.
just wide open. All right.
Yeah.
I feel like you have a thing just going right in your basement right now. Just get into the masses. I appreciate everything you're doing, and
Thanks, man.
yeah,
Dude, we're doing the mushroom mecca out there. We're not only doing that, but when you're celebrating your grand opening for your first yurt, Geeky's gonna come out. I'm gonna build you one of them trebuchets, man, and we are gonna launch. It's gonna be a sweet video. I'm ready to do it.
I can't wait. So yeah, I feel like things are moving forward.
I wanted to know what your agenda was and then
Yeah.
what your experience was. So that's cool. Man, I'm ready for the yurts, and I think you will find there are plenty of people who are trying to marry. I mean, this is why Jamaica's working out so great, right? Like everybody already wants to go to Jamaica. Oh, through a legal loophole, we can run all these retreats down here. Fantastic, right?
Yeah.
You got a similar thing. You got a really special piece of property, amazing views. It's an amazing place up there, and I'm positive you'll have people who, if you build it, they'll come, Gary.
Yeah, so that's what I'm here for. Is I just want to, spread the love and spread the energy, and I was very lucky to be immersed in that for 3 days, and it was like I said, it was a life changing event just to see all of those people gathered in one spot. Alan Rockefeller, he stopped by my booth at one point, and I'm like, oh my god, like what, like what are the odds? And then I saw like William Padilla Brown just walking through the crowd and seeing all these people that I look up to as just a mushroom farmer all in one space. It was, a really uplifting experience. And it was similar to like Telluride, but more broad and like at scale. So
Right.
it was, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Well, thanks for giving us the lowdown. I'm hoping to get some more people on. I got a few people I'm chit-chatting with about coming on. I just got to twist everybody's arm to get them on. Everybody's busy. Everybody's got things to do. So I appreciate you taking the time. Sounds like it was fun.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. And you're going to have to come out here soon.
Done. It's already happening. It's on the list.
Yeah, if you can make a road trip or something, like I've got a couch with a pullout that has your name on it. So you're welcome to crash here if you want, or just stop by if you don't feel like sleeping with a 1-year-old or less than 1-year-old in the house. But whatever, you're always welcome.
Well, when I get out there, we're building the trebuchet for sure.
Yes,
that is definitely happening. We're gonna go find the good fun guy, and we're gonna go have some fun. And yeah, there's a lot of fun people out there. So when I get out there, we'll probably have to do a little get together somewhere. It'll be a good time.
Awesome.
All right, dude. Well, thank you so much. And until next time, have fun continuing to provide everybody with great YouTube content, great Etsy products, local, everything. You're model for the small boutique, high quality mushroom vendor. So thanks for doing what you do.
Well, thank you. Thanks for hosting me again. Sorry about the bees.
It's all good. All right, dude. Talk to you later.
All right. Much love.
All right, guys, that was Gary Heferle of Fresh from the Farm Fungi filling us in on the MAPS Psychedelic Science Conference 2023. Sounds like he had a good time. Sounds like definitely something worth going to. Wish I could have afforded to get there. Maybe next year, we'll see. I definitely hope they continue to foster this community and the enthusiasm and the excitement that so many of us have for this. Let's keep the ball rolling. Next up, Casey Strange of Basement Culture. She hit my radar. I can't even remember. I know she was on Instagram, and I think somebody said, "Oh, you know who you need to check out? You got to check this Casey Strange chick out." So I went and checked out her Instagram, and I'm like, okay, she is doing it. We became friends. I had her on for one of the other podcasts. Female Cultivator podcast, and I thought it was about time I have her on for a solo show, get to know her a little bit better. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Casey Strange of Basement Culture. Casey Strange of Basement Culture.
What up? What up?
What's up, man?
Not
How you
much.
doing?
Thanks for having me on. I'm doing pretty well. Pretty good. Happy to be here.
Sun is just about setting over there.
Yeah, we'll give it another hour.
All right. Well, so you've been on the show before. Not everybody knows that, possibly. And if you don't, I think it's best. Let's just start off. Let's do what we do with everybody. We're going to do the MyCo origin story, first mushroom memory, and then bring us up to kind of where you are right now.
All right. So, my first mushroom memory. That would be, probably 12 years ago. I was 19 up in the mountains with my friends. They're like, yo, we brought some mushrooms with us. Let's eat some mushrooms. Just lost our minds. We were just kids.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm impressed that you had you're spoiled, man. Back in the day for us, we never got that much. I don't think any of us ever had like a real absolute full blown trip.
And this is the thing. So this was back when, a mushroom was a mushroom, right? You get the baggie, it's just all crunched up in there.
Who knows what it is?
And yeah, exactly. But whatever this was some, we couldn't have eaten more than a couple grams, probably a few grams. And it was a very intense experience. Since then, I've been cultivating mushrooms. I was introduced by my partner Danny in 2019. Messed around with it for about a year, and then I decided that I really liked it and wanted to get in a little deeper.
You're old school. I mean, that's almost 4 years ago. That puts you in a whole different category these days.
Yeah, there were only like a few people online. On YouTube was, aside from Danny, YouTube was my biggest teacher. There weren't very many creators. Now you go on YouTube and it's like there's a lot of information, and not all of it is the best. I mean, it's all F around and find out, right?
Gotta weed through a lot of videos. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, now I'm doing it full time. Pouring plates. I don't grow in bulk necessarily. I do a lot of tubs, but it's always all different tubs because I'm simultaneously working on a few different genetics that were either gifted to me or that I bought from smaller breeders, or even Bestidium. Yeah, just trying to work on my faves, and then yeah. So my library is extensive, and I'm always in the lab.
Nice.
Basically.
Yeah, you are always in the lab. I remember for some of our pre-meetings for the first episode you were on, I remember you were like in the back. You and Susie were both like, everybody else is there paying attention, talking. You guys are like, hold on,
Yeah.
I got some stuff I gotta get done with. I just noticed your T-shirt.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Right, my partner made this.
Please tell me that's on your merch store.
I think it is, actually.
Because that is hilarious.
I think it is, and if it isn't, I don't know. So my partner who works on our website, we have some T-shirts up there. I don't know if he was afraid to use this logo.
I see.
Like maybe there's some like copyright. Is it on there?
Here we go. Hold on. There it is. I guess he wasn't afraid.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. All right, ladies. If you like that T-shirt, there you go. You can get that T-shirt.
Yeah, those T-shirts talk too.
Do this. I need you to fill in a little more details here. So,
all right.
You had your first amazing trip, and just walk me through what that experience was like at 19. How it evolved over time. I hear a lot of people say, I dabbled when I was young.
Yep.
And it was a different experience than in my older late 20s, 30s, 100%. 40s, whatever. Yeah, it's different, isn't it?
I think it's all about intention, right? When you're a kid, and you don't have too much weight on your shoulders, but going out and letting loose means something completely different than it does when you're 30,
Right. When you're 19, you're like, how can I just have an experience?
Exactly.
I want to have all the experiences. Exactly. When you're 38, you're like, how can this solve all my problems?
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
I think you're right.
But so after that first experience, mushrooms, it was never really a thought in my mind, but and meanwhile, cannabis has just stalked me my entire life. Everyone I know, everyone I'm acquainted with just happens to grow, and so that's always sort of followed me, and that was my first love, and I could talk cannabis all day, all night, but when mushrooms were reintroduced to me, it was nice because you go to work during the day and you're just two completely different worlds. Growing cannabis, you're moving around a lot. There's a lot of moving parts, and with mycology work, it's far more. Not to say that cannabis isn't very technical in its own right, but just I'd come home and I'd I think I was pouring agar into like ketchup cups at that time.
Right. So
in my little still air box.
It's more zen. Is that what you're saying? It's more zen. It's a vibe.
It's very zen. Yeah. Put on the music, audiobook, and just
Nice.
Get in the lab. Yeah.
Very cool. All right. Well, you sent me a bunch of a bunch of pictures. Let's kind of go through some of those. Everybody loves pictures. All right, so I think this is some early pictures, right?
Yeah, this was my very first little fruiting room get up. It was in an upstairs bedroom. Like there was carpet on the floor. Got my little garden gnome in there and my carbon filter, and humble beginnings.
Hey, I mean, honestly, this is like, for beginner, this is way better than most beginners start out with. You're monitoring your ambient room conditions.
Yep.
You got a light set up. You got a air filter. You got shelving. And then your tubs, you didn't spray paint your tubs black.
No, well, I did spray paint my tubs black once though. That was a big mistake. Yeah, they need to take that video off YouTube. Like that I won't name names. Whoever put that video up of the dude spray painting the tub.
I might not have ever seen that. I heard of it on Shroomery, but then if you read enough of the thread, they dispelled it.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw a YouTube video, but and for the record, the light probably wasn't necessary either because I had so much ambient light in there. But
right,
you live and you learn.
They will absolutely grow with no light.
They will absolutely. Dude, sometimes I'll pull, like if I'm doing a bag tech, you know, I'll pull it out of the incubation chamber, and yeah, I'll already have fruits popping up in there, and there's no light in there at all. So,
I mean, they are phototropic. They are affected by light. I do think most of the research suggests that light plays a role in pinning, but you can keep them in the dark and they will still pin. So I hear a lot of newbies talking. They're real concerned about what light they get, and you know, because if they came from cannabis, they're like, "Oh, I gotta buy a light. The light's the most important thing." No,
I was right there with them.
It's not. It's almost inconsequential. Yeah.
So this was actually technically my very, very first setup. You know, my Danny came to my house and we did the tub together, and he kind of showed me, you know, step by step. I mean, we did it. We did grains, we did the substrate, we came back and we set the tub, and then I put it in my closet under a T5 light, like full blast. Oh yeah, and I'm asking him, I'm calling him, you know, a couple days later. I'm like, yeah, I'm not seeing any pinning. Like it's kind of turning a little like brown on the top. It's like just way too much light. I did end up getting a really good first flush though. I wish I had photos of that.
All right, well, so you definitely get a gold star for this first grow. It sounds like you had some good mentorship in the beginning. That never hurts. All right, and then okay, what the heck do we got going? Don't you
so
need
this
to take
was
a shower, Casey?
Yeah, well, apparently I didn't. I was really lucky where I lived, and we had a few bathrooms. My roommate and I, and so I used this shower. I was also growing cannabis at home at the time, so I have my little all that tubing stuff was the RO water. But this was kind of my clean room. This was where you know, I set my tubs, and it was my little, this was my first lab, kind of.
Interesting.
Yeah, so if you don't have access to a lab or a good, you know, an oven, what is it, the convection oven?
Yeah.
I've heard works for some people. Don't have that, just go in your walk-in shower, I bleach it down real good.
I never even thought about that. You know, honestly, you probably wouldn't even have to bleach it if you close the door, turn the shower on, let it get super humid in there, and then turn it off. It would all just settle, and it would,
yeah.
I never thought about that.
I actually learned that kind of late in the game, the spraying water. It just blew my mind. I'm like, why didn't I think of this? Like.
Yeah, I always tell people in a pinch, if they don't have a still air box and they don't have a flow hood and they want to do clean work, I always just say, grab some Lysol, spray it, watch it settle. As soon as it's settled, work really fast.
Yeah. And then do it again. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
All right. Is this the first tub you ever grew?
This is not the first tub I ever grew, but this was when I was growing cannabis and mushrooms. And I just wanted to briefly touch on sort of the synergy between cannabis and mushrooms.
Okay.
So I had all of my tubs at the top of my veg room. I was vegging plants back there, and all that CO2 from those tubs is aiding those veg plants.
Interesting.
That they love the CO2, and in turn they're kind of creating oxygen for so I just want to touch on that. I think those are at the time I was calling them albino teachers, but they're obviously leucistic. And then this was just another random, I was high when I said all these photos. So I would do a lot of work in my kitchen too, in my still air box, and I had this bonsai tree. And one day I came home and I just had random mushrooms grown in my bonsai tree. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Very cool. There's a guy I keep trying to get on Instagram. I think his account was like formerly Gus. he's always live. Every time I go on, the guy's live on all the time. So I was like, cool, I'm gonna have this guy on, because I knew that he grew cannabis with mushrooms, like formally. He would have flushes in his pots for his cannabis plants, and he always, it's always, no, I'm working on the tech, like I don't. So anyway, someday maybe we'll have this guy on and we can find out what he knows.
I know that, like, if you use the cocoa that's used for cannabis, and maybe this is all cocoa, you know, trichoderma is naturally occurring in cocoa,
Yeah.
but anytime I've used even like Mother Earth, you know, I've used their cocoa. If you buy the bricks, I don't think there's anything added in there, but if you buy it like from a grow store, you'll definitely want to sterilize it as opposed to pasteurize it, just in case, because trichoderma is, you know, cannabis loves it.
Yeah, I didn't used to. I now sterilize everything, no matter what kind it is. I don't got time for the trichoderma. It sure doesn't hurt. No. All right, what else we got here? We got, all right.
So this was another early flush. I think this is Thai Pink Buffalo. And I wanted to bring these next few strains on just as you know, people who are just starting out, and you know, good beginner strains. So the Thai Pink Buffalo, you know, not only is it fairly easy to get a nice canopy and to grow, especially if you buy, you know, either swabs and put it on agar, or you buy isolations from, you know, locally, or from people who isolate very well. This is one strain that hits really hard, and the trip is very euphoric.
Oh, nice. I have grown it once. I think it just ended up getting blended into a bunch of microdoses. I never experienced it in and of itself.
It's great in microdoses. I actually use this strain in most of my microdoses.
Nice. I think I got some Pink Buffalo prints buried in the bottom of a shoebox somewhere. I'll have to dig them out.
Yeah,
try them out. Yeah, I think this is great. When you sent me these photos saying these are like beginner friendly strains, and I think this is good to talk about. I think these days, out of the gate, everybody's trying to grow. I had a guy send me a message asking me questions about his first grow. Geeky, it's my first grow. I'm like, okay, cool. What are you growing? Yeti and Ghost.
That's awesome.
Okay,
no,
dude.
I mean, that's ballsy.
Hey.
Gotta be patient, and
but I'm a big fan of. I mean, still, it never gets old. There's psilocybin in these. Right? Like, I think people forget that in this whole like game of potency. There's these absolutely work.
Yeah, and just eat more, right? Just eat more. These are Rusty Whites, another
cool.
very beginner friendly strain. Yeah, I love this strain. This is another one that all the trip reports I've gotten from it, it's very light and happy and just good. You know, it's doesn't mess with my stomach. I love the Rusty Whites.
Nice. I have not grown Rusty Whites.
You haven't?
No, I mean, I haven't grown everything. I've grown a lot, but I have not grown everything. So
I love they're my favorite prints, just aesthetically, because they're a light brown. You know, most cubensis, it's like a dark. They're beautiful prints.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'll grow them.
I'll send you a couple swabs.
If you got swabs of those, man, I'll grow those. Sure.
Oh, hell yeah, I do. This is True Albino Teacher, another very, very beginner friendly strain. I think this was my first run of it. I went with a bag, and it just speaks for itself. You know,
really does.
It really does. So, but it's important to mention that a lot of these, I started with multispore to agar. So you isolate it on the agar. Yeah, if you I never shoot spores into bags. People who do, that's okay. You're always running the risk of contaminating your bag, and it's just going to take forever.
Now I will say this though, if you made your own multispore syringe and you trust yourself and your tech and your sterility and all that, Sure.
That's true. So
but
you just
if
have
I
to
got
be
it from
wary
somebody
buying.
else, I'm never
Exactly.
doing that. No, I
Exactly.
don't trust you enough.
Exactly. But all of these, or this one in particular, I guess, as well as the Rusty Whites, I did isolate on agar before I put it to grain, so that but it's still a very beginner friendly strain.
It really is. I mean, we always say, "Oh, grow Golden Teacher B+," right?
Yeah.
But man, 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐤, Tat, Stormtroopers. These are all, they love bags too. Like they don't care what they're in, really. They will do it. You could probably just throw.
Is that Dirty South? Is that his?
Yeah, so that is I think is a reverted albino tidal wave. I think I might be getting that wrong, but I think so, yeah.
Did he isolated that one, right?
Yeah, so he's on his episode he tells a story, but basically he had something revert and then he isolated that and then I forget something else happened. But it's all him. He wasn't strategically trying to make it happen. He just Dirty South finds a lot of stuff because he just goes with the flow, follows what the mushrooms are telling him, and
F around, find out.
Exactly. There we go.
So this is, what is this? This is another beginner friendly strain. I think this is the Amazonian.
Okay.
Or this kind of looks like Thai Pink Buffalo again, actually. Yeah, this might just be another Thai Pink Buffalo.
All right.
Oh, did I double send you that?
I don't know. Let's go back here.
So that it's definitely a different run.
Oh, it's a different. Okay, I was literally trying to see if I could follow the arrangement of the fruit. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. All right. Yeah, that's great. I still Dub Tub Tech, right? Couple 6-quart shoe boxes.
Exactly.
Land races, and man, if that's not working out for you, you should just stay right there until you get that figured out. Could not agree more. They grow fast compared to some of the others. So either it just kind of happens or it doesn't. It's easy to figure out. Yeah, it's great for beginners for sure. All right, now what you got here?
This is Basidium's Machine Elf. Or wait, no, I'm sorry. This is Vader 6. This is a Vader 6 run. Yeah, this was probably the second time, second or third flush.
Okay. Wow. Nice.
So, or I mean, not flush. I'm sorry. Run. So
run. Okay.
So second. Yeah.
I was like, dang man, if this is your third flush,
right? Yeah. No. That, I mean, look how thin that cake is. I don't think that cake even made it to a second flush. But I ran some pretty. Man, to be honest, like when it comes to setting my tubs and like what kind of tubs I'm using, I'm just kind of all over the map. So, I'm trying to do thicker beds now, but this is.
I just saw a guy, he just ran 3/4 of an inch cake, right? Thin. And he got a full banging flush. He got a full flush.
Yeah, well, I think this is probably about the same, 3/4 of an inch, maybe an inch.
Now, if you don't get a banging flush, it's because the sub was probably on, not dry, but, barely hitting field capacity and just evaporated too soon. But there's no reason you can't play around with cake depth. I actually just talked to Ed Grand about some ideas as far as that goes that we'll be talking about soon. So, all right, Vader 6, sweet umbos, great coloring. Love that. Have not grown that.
Beautiful. So this is, I bought these swabs from MycoGeeky. Yeah, I bought this swab from her. This is the MMR ape, MMR ape. There's another name for this strain. I can't think of, some people call it like, I don't know, some ape cross that I think they might have bred it. I'm not sure. But
they got a lot of original stuff for sure. Yeah, they are real breeders.
Well, this was my first run of those, and I don't know why I threw this one in there, but I liked it. I've gotten So I actually gave my boss some of these, and he is the type of guy where he'll just, he'll eat one cap and one stem during the workday, and just kind of as a microdose. And he said he ate one of these, and he was like, too much. So,
yeah,
but he said he really likes them. Yeah.
Dude, I remember the first time I had like just a tiny pile of aborts. This was super early on, and I'm like, oh, these little guys, I'll just crunch these down. Wow. There might be all the psilocybin, right? Like I heard some old school guy in the shroomery arguing that like the minute you have a pin, all the psilocybin that's ever going to be in there is already in there. And I'm like, man, I thought that was bull crap. But after I had those aborts, I think it's just I don't believe he's right, but I think because you just not enough time for the metabolic, producing the tryptamine, alkaloids, all that stuff. But I do think that per volume, there's way more. I think as the fruit just gets bigger, it's really mostly adding, right, just water weight as far as the weight goes.
Sure.
And
yeah, I've heard that, the smaller, the fully developed mushroom, the smaller it is, the more potent it is. Like, I don't know who it was, who Danny showed me a study, semi recently, that some guy didn't, obviously it wasn't, there's not the data, like you should have to send in 500 of different strains and sizes, but a lot of people are saying that the smaller the fully developed mushroom is, the more potent it is. Like giant mushrooms aren't, like, anecdotally just seem to be not quite as potent as the small ones.
When you get chonkers, that's just a lot of water weight for sure. One of the tricks, people might not know this, but guys that had, big like DC Mac varieties and, stuff that just was notoriously huge, 200 club, 300 club, 400 club, if you bottom watered that before you harvested them, so let's say like you could harvest it like tonight, right? But you bottom water and you harvest it in the morning, it'll suck all that freaking water up, and then
but it's like, oh yeah, and it all spongy feeling. Yeah, that's messed up. I don't understand that either. It's like, when I'm giving someone mushrooms, I hate to just like give them like a couple of huge mushrooms. Like I mean, I'll admit
they don't want it anyway.
Weighing my mushrooms, but but weighing my wet mushrooms. But yeah, it's like I prefer personally, even if I were to acquire them from someone else, I'd prefer smaller mushrooms.
Yeah, I mean, so the land races, all the like basic cubes, I like to harvest them before veil break. Like where I can tell veil break's probably going to happen in the next 3 or 4 hours, maybe 1 or 2 of them have broken. But if you harvest them before then and dry them immediately, they will preserve better. They're denser. If you wait till the caps flatten out, man, all the caps going to get all busted up anyway.
On to that subject, these almost look like, I'm trying to remember when I harvested these, they were all firm. But they almost started to like seem to abort, and a couple of them were a little bit softer than I would have liked. But the way the tops, and this was this was my first run of them, but yeah, they got kind of weird at the end. Like I thought I could give them a few more days, but they started getting kind of wet. So yeah.
Of course, a beautiful, perfectly formed mushroom has water in it, but when it feels wet. Yeah, for cubes anyway, it's probably gone a little too far.
Exactly, spongy. All right, so this is blue brains. I've been working with this genetic for about 1.5 years. I think this is one of my earlier flushes of it. Man, I should have been more concise in sending you like different flushes. Anyway, I love this strain. I baby this strain. It's super high potency. I've sold this to a couple of people, the genetics liquid cultures, and what some of my customers have done with it makes this look it's incredible what some people are doing with this strain. So it's cool to see
it's looking pretty dreamy to me. Them little shower caps look great. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like that.
And this is Shakti.
Oh yeah, that's a killer bag, man. How thick is that bag? What is that, 8 inches thick?
So yeah, so since then I've taken my bags down quite a bit. This was just, I think this was like, I don't know why I was doing these bags so thick for a minute, but we've since cut it down. Probably
but
where
I mean,
that
you
rubber
got
band
some
is.
big old fruits in there too.
But man, even in the smaller bags, like, you know, now that my bags are like that thick, yeah, I'm still getting
good ones. Nice.
Yeah.
The only downfall of putting that much sub, or like once you've spun to bulk, putting that much cake depth, not only does it increase your likelihood for contamination, which obviously wasn't a problem, but you just lose that atmosphere in the bag.
Exactly.
So yeah, there's a point where, you know, sure, couple 2-3 inches is great, but you know, leave some atmosphere in there for that bag.
Yeah.
But look, I'm saying that, and I'm saying that, but it didn't matter. The mushrooms
it's a waste, though. It's you know, it's a bit of a waste. Like, that could have been 2 bags for sure. For sure. So kids at home.
Yep.
Cut your
kids
bags
at home.
half.
Well, those won't fit under their bed anyway, Casey. You don't got to worry about that. They're never going to do them that deep.
Yeah. True that. All right, and then this is thick, or this is either thick penis PEM cut. I think this was the PEM cut.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I just kind of randomly threw this one in there too. I think this was my first run.
I love this one. I've run this one a couple times. I'm a pretty big fan of this one. Yeah.
I think I ran it like twice. I'm just kidding. I think I heard you talking in your last podcast to a guy about working with so many strains, and it's better to be. Yeah, I loved your analogy, the polyamory to the monogamy.
I'm trying to get monogamous with my mushrooms. Yeah,
I'm so polyamorous right now, but I'm trying to like work, you know, really work with the strains, but it's just so much going on. So I think I did end up cutting this one out for a minute. I have so much, you know, so I like penis 76, penis 21, uncut, thick penis. It's like so many penises in my life.
I mean, this is the community, right?
Yeah.
You are in a phallic community. Sure. There's nothing you can do about it.
For sure. This is the Machine Elf.
Cool.
This was my first run with the Machine Elf. I'm only on my second run of Machine Elf right now. I'm really stoked about it, but
nice.
Yeah, I got some good swabs and prints off of this run. Basidium, man, they dropped some fire genetics.
Oh yeah. So I think we got one more little set of pictures.
Oh snap! All right, so this was gifted to me. Shout out to Natural State Mycology. So this is Nutcracker, his Gemini project, isolation of Nutcracker. I'm still working with it, and this was like, I had to kind of screenshot. I only took videos. I take so many videos, like photos are not, I don't know. Anyway, if you go to my IG, I do a little spin around, but
nice.
I saw this was really cool mushroom that that he's working with, and now I'm working with, and right now I've got it swabbed. This this is Nebula octopi cross from Monocaryon, who's cool. Also a good friend of mine. Yeah, he's man, that guy is like, I don't think he really like sells his genetics, but I mean, and I don't know that he really like, he's just about, like, it seems to me that he's just about playing around with different crosses.
Yeah.
So, you know, I bought quite a few genetics from him, or from people who have bought them from him, and it's taken a while. And, you know, I've been working with the Nebula octopi for about a year now, maybe almost a year. And, you know, getting a full flush is still, I mean, these are some thick, like heavy and very interesting.
Heavy. They look like they have a unique consistency, like density.
They really do.
Yeah.
And just the texture.
Nice.
Anyway, shout out to Monocaryon. He makes some cool stuff, and I'm working on a few of his genetics right now, which I'm pretty excited about. So this was my first run of the Nebula octopi. I think we have one more photo of Oh, that's another, just the first run. It was such a pretty mushroom.
That's super cool right there.
Yeah, 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 just beautiful. I tried putting it in a bag. It's another one of those thick bags. And this is what happened. So it almost looks like I don't know what happened to this. Anyway, so that was
well,
my
I hope you
attempt.
Harvested those and
100%.
Because those probably work.
Yeah. I imagine they do. I don't think I've eaten them yet either. Man, so this is another. I harvested this tub really late at night. This is the Nebula octopi.
Okay.
And I didn't take a picture of the effing tub. I mean, it wasn't a full flush, but it was, it was quite a bit.
I mean,
more
that
full,
just
and
looks
quite
like you're
different.
holding a bunch of bowling pins with some shower caps on them. Yeah, those
right?
look pretty big.
And
nice.
Well, but they were definitely different from that first flush, and a bit more consistent, a little bit smaller, which I like, and just so pretty. So yeah, this was like my second or third go around with them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just another
same
view
thing.
of them. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
You do what I do. You do the you take your lids for your tubs and then you use those to protect your prints. I like that.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually I just bought these really cool little my partner got them for me. They're like deeper cookie dishes, and that lid is actually a lid for a pan, for a baking, like a cake pan. But now I'm using these airtight, like cookie sheet covered pans. I was thinking, like, might as well just use the freeze dryer, right? Just it's super clean in there. Got the little trays. Like, how do you keep your spore prints well protected? This works too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
This
is iceberg.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Iceberg in a bag, man. It popped off for me. I think when I put it in a tub, maybe I just didn't make my cake super thick. I saw a couple people on the oh my gosh, my mind. What's that place? Discord.
Yeah.
I saw a couple people in Discord that got really good fat flushes in tubs. And yeah, mine just kind of wimped out. But the bag, dude, I've done a couple in the bag and they just blow up.
Yeah, I think I ran a tub for that grow along, and mine was all right. It was pretty good. It wasn't the best. They do seem to love tubs. I think they love a lot of humidity, and so for whatever reason, I think my tub wasn't quite dialed perfectly, and so yeah. But
I've since ran them in a tub, and they looked good in this tub. But that first tub, it was just way too thin. Yeah. I'm just I think that this is actually different. Yeah. Well, no, it's a different bag.
Oh, a different bag.
But
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Shout out to Missy MYCO, right? Or Miss Mush.
Miss Mush SoCal.
Mush, sorry.
We can shout out Missy MYCO too.
Yeah, shout out to her for sure. Yeah. She's cool.
Yeah, Miss Mush is I still got people in that grow along channel. They're still turning in their homework. It's great.
I'm so bad at just the social media and keeping like,
because you're in the lab working all the time. That's why. It's all good. Yeah.
True.
It's okay.
That's true.
Yeah, I can't believe people are still, going, oh, it took a minute, but here's my results. And we got a little thing going on with a bunch of Ed Grant's F1 swabs. And for a minute, I was like, oh, maybe this isn't going to work out. Nobody's doing anything. But no, it just takes a while, right? Like they don't grow overnight. It takes a hot minute. And yeah, so.
True that.
You do a grow along and you're like, wow, this grow along was like 7 months ago and I still got people turning stuff in. Cool. Okay. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's great. Gets people. It's a great
I'm about
cultigen. Yeah.
Yeah. People love eating those mushrooms too.
Oh,
That's another one. My buddy's like, I feel like I'm on cloud 9. Like, stop texting me, dude. You're tripping. Like, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so I know so I've been struggling. I'm trying to get my website together. And I know you. I know a lot of other people that are trying to get their websites together, almost together. You have a good one, so I wanted to actually pull it up and just kind of say, hey, check it out, guys. She's got a cool website. Check it out. But maybe you could talk to me a little bit about who do you use? How do you get it up? How much effort was it?
Sure.
Like, just give me some pro tips on this, basically.
Sure. So, so the website is a constant work in progress. My partner Danny, actually, he's working on it probably as we speak. Yeah, like this wasn't here yesterday. He puts a ton of work into this website all the time. You know, we'll just kind of get together and say, you know, what do we really want to focus on this week, but I mean, he goes above and beyond as far as like origins of varieties, whether it be a breeder or, you know, or places around the world. We were actually talking earlier today, and he's like, yeah, I'm really trying to he's trying to make it so when you go to search, you can search for different strains like via their origin. Yeah, just strictly, you know, via their origin. And it, dude, is that maybe overkill? Like he loves working on this website, so I really appreciate him.
I can tell. It looks great.
Yeah, thank you. He puts a lot of work in descriptions, gives credit to where you know, whoever the original breeder is, when possible. We definitely like to include all of that. Yeah. So thank you.
Cool. I dig.
It's been a long time coming. Yeah, I could definitely link you up with him.
My favorite guy right here. Good old Alan Watts.
He's got my heart too.
I mean, I'm pretty anti-religion, but if he still was alive and he started a religion, I would join it. Yep.
Man, the first time I ate LSD, I was alone at home, like 26, and I just turned to Alan Watts. You know, I put on some like YouTube of all of his lectures that I'd listened to 1,000 times, and I just listened to them all night, and it was as though I was hearing them all again for the first time. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I got to get that that fuck around and find out notebook. I definitely need one of those.
Yeah.
I'm just Danny, out all your stuff I think here.
Made that. I told him, I said, we really need to get a dotted notebooks. Like, I don't really like lined notebooks. I like the dotted.
Yeah.
I think only Moleskin really messed around with that. Yeah, we've got the. I really want to
all this stuff. Make America giggle again. That's great.
Yeah. I'm working on some bandanas right now. That's going to be a little bit more of a process because I'm actually going to buy the bandanas and buy the not necessarily screen prints, but like gang sheets and do them all myself. When I'm in the lab, you know, it's when I have masks, you know, I'll wear a mask, but I really prefer bandana all the way. You know, I wear a bandana at work, wear a separate far cleaner bandana. Like, yeah, I like that mask. I don't know. I was talking to him about that. I'm like, I would never mind. It's a good mask. I mean, it's a great mask.
We're all different. So some people hate bandanas and they love those, and some people don't want to wear a mask at all under any circumstances. It's just all whatever it is.
Yeah.
But this is cool. Yeah, you guys have put in the work. I know it's a lot of work because I need literally like 5 days where I'm just down here working on it, and I never have.
Yo,
so.
I'll connect you guys. I'm sure he would hook you up, and I'm super lucky to be partnered up with him, and you know, because if I'm not in the greenhouse, I'm in the lab, and there's absolutely no way. Like, I see other vendors who do just have, you know, kind of a basic website. But to me, I kind of like that. It's like, it's very functional. You know, I go, I buy what I want, and I get off. But I've gotten a lot of compliments on the website, and just, you know, Danny, and he also runs Milliken Mushroom Supply, which is
cool. Okay.
A bigger,
nice.
So.
You know, I'm a little jealous of like every time I hear about the little myco romances and all that, and I'm like, God, I can't even imagine having a partner that I could just talk for hours about mushrooms with. I would probably not do the podcast, but anyway, so maybe it's good. But,
it's it's kind of nice. Like we don't live together, and we have our strong suits. So he he'll make the substrate, and sometimes I'll let him set tubs. I should let him into the lab more and just be more. I'm so particular and neurotic. In my mind, I feel like it takes a certain level of neuroticism to keep like a very, if my lab isn't super, if I come home and he's been at my house in my lab and he's moved anything around or like touched something or left like a needle on a syringe, I'm like, no, yeah. So, but yeah, I'm super lucky. Your wife just never, not her bag.
She loves the fruits of my labor.
Hey, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that's as far as it goes. She is tapped out on the myco conversations pretty much.
I believe it. I believe it.
We don't all have to have the same hobbies. It's all good.
No, true that. Yeah. We don't eat nearly enough mushrooms, but recently, man, I've just been so stressed out. I'm moving. I've got, the business is thankfully picking up on a few different fronts. And I just, we've been at each other's throats a little bit. So
stress.
It was just exactly stress. But yeah, we decided, with everything going on, like we just need to set it down, go up to the mountains, eat some mushrooms, and reset. And man, it was very good, and I highly encourage. I know a lot of people in the myco community who say the same thing. The shoemaker goes without shoes, and it's so important to enjoy the fruits of your labor and to just get out and reconnect with yourself.
So you're in this situation where you're now helping people grow mushrooms, and they're, because you provided that important kernel of genetic to them, they feel obligated to talk to you about, how the medicine's working for them. So please, if you got some stories, let's hear them.
So a lot of these people actually are friends or family friends, people who you wouldn't expect to be messing around with, psychedelic drugs. And so let's jump into a couple of these. So I just texted a few people who I've given medicine, some of it microdosing, some of it macro dosing, and I texted a few people last night and just asked them if they could share some of their experience with me.
I like this.
Yeah. So let's see. First guy said, as a firefighter and EMT, I see things that most people can't grasp on a regular basis. The stress, whether we admit it affects us or not, it does build up inside, and unfortunately it comes out in unpredictable ways and unpredictable times. I've been in therapy to help cope and on medication that has done wonders, but it wasn't enough. One day on vacation, I decided to try this since it has such a short half-life, and I did a bigger dose, and I mean, it was okay, but the day after was something unbelievable. I felt a calm I've almost never felt before in my life. He said he felt like a weight had been lifted off his shoulders, and ever since, I've just been a calmer person. Nothing changed other than that experience, so I know for a fact that they were related. I started microdosing on my days off to see if I could lengthen this experience. It's been very transformative for me. So thank you to
That's
him.
amazing.
I will keep it. Was really wonderful. And there's another my family member of my best friend who works in finance, and he's just very, very straight-laced professional with children, and really has always sort of seemed to look down on psychedelic substances. He was a little bit concerned about the it being anonymous, and You know, he's like, my wife and I are getting along. You know, she's taking I have the, it's basically Stand and Stack microdose recipe, and he's just eating the fruits. And I mean, his energy just feels different. And James, you know, my best friend will go to family dinners and come back and say, you know, this guy's like an entirely different person. And this is, you know, 3-4 months down the road. Yeah. So that,
this isn't just like we talk about it gets you off nicotine, it gets you off alcohol, it gets you off hard drugs, it gets you, you process your PTSD or your childhood trauma and all that, your depression. That's all true. But these are just things like, I don't know what's wrong, but I know I don't feel right. And then now I feel good again.
exactly.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So,
and yes,
so
it is extremely profound to, this is what I tell everybody here is we're involved in this. This is, in my opinion, very similar to civil rights movement, to the hippie movement. This is like, we identify that the world is not working right now and we want to be a part of fixing it. And we see this as one tool that can be used in this, the revolution, the change that needs to happen, the healing that needs to happen.
Exactly. So many people today are angry, and you know, we're so divided, more divided than ever in my lifetime, for sure. And it's really sad to see. And you know, we can't do a whole lot about some of the loudest, angry, hateful voices, but you know, when that gets to be too much, just like taking, you know, remembering to water your own, you know, weed your own mind and water your own mind. You know, yeah, plant your own good seeds it's so important.
Yeah.
So I have one more here. This is from a lady who I will also keep anonymous. She says, I was diagnosed with PTSD and borderline personality disorder a little less than 2 years ago. It was one of the most devastating things to hear. However, I then knew how to understand myself a little better, and I quickly realized drinking was toxic for me and quit drinking going on 20 months ago. For 10 long months, I worked on getting myself sober, seeing a therapist, psychiatrist, and trying different types of medication, with what seemed to be followed was just more confusion and frustration. Finally, after 10-ish months, the magical world of psilocybin had opened up to me. I had explored it in the past, but never with the wisdom I have today and never for medical purposes. But everything was much different. Psilocybin slows my mind in such a way it puts the rest of me at ease. My anxiety dissipates. I'm able to converse with others without disassociating. My whole life at this point had just been changed forever. Everything was so magical. People, places. I felt like I had my life back. Not just since the first time since my diagnosis, but for the first time maybe ever.
Wow.
I felt like I was one in control and not my disorder. Not only has it helped me with my mental health journey, but it has helped me spiritually as well. I'm closer to the great divine and spiritual world more than ever before. Psilocybin has opened my eyes to much. We are all connected. It's all a collective. I will now and forever explore the power of psilocybin and manifest that magic. I just said, I hope this was helpful, and it was very helpful, and thank you. Yeah, you know, and this woman.
This is what keeps you in the lab right here.
Yeah.
This is because you know it matters.
Exactly. It feels so good. You know, I work for a guy part-time who I give psilocybin, and he, you know, he has just seemed like lighter and happier. And you know, running such a huge, you know, running any huge operation is so stressful, and just to be able to you know, clear your mind a little bit, it's what Michael Pollan compares the mind to. He says that the mind is like a snowy hill, and you know, we walk up and down this hill making all of these tracks. And what psilocybin does is it's kind of like a snowfall. It covers all the tracks in the hill, and it allows us to form new tracks, new ways of thinking about things and solving problems. And while I do microdose, and I love microdosing, man, taking a large dose of mushrooms and just laying with yourself and going inside of yourself it's a very profound experience with
Yes.
yeah.
Now, if
Yeah.
you read all the science so far, the most compelling science is for macrodosing.
Yeah. Yeah, I've read that.
It's not microdosing. Now, I have heard just literally hundreds and hundreds of microdosing stories, and I also do it so I can speak to it. That also works, but I think the data collection and having telling a compelling story through the research is a little tougher, whereas having that just significantly profound experience, you're not getting a reset process with microdosing, right? You're just getting a subtle nudge in a certain direction.
Exactly.
But the macro dose, that's a hard reset. That's like you're saying, Pollen's saying, that's like take away all the well-worn tracks on the trail. Exactly. And now it's like you can walk wherever you want. It gives you the freedom to rewrite your script, right? Like what are the things you just always think about and do, all those default mode network things. It says, okay, but you could think differently about this.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. I feel a responsibility to mention so there has been a lot of significant research done on macrodosing, and anyone who's interested in really getting the full benefits, or is really purposefully, intentionally, like they would like to use psilocybin as therapy. Andrew Huberman, I think he put out a great podcast, talking about just going into detail and proper protocols as far as details. Going up in the mountains and eating a bunch of mushrooms is amazing and therapeutic, but there are very technical things that have been studied rigorously regarding eyes open, eyes closed, being alone, someone there, music. So I encourage anyone to just really, and even when I'm giving someone fruits and they're asking me questions that maybe I'm better at cultivating than I am at I'm not an expert at the therapy, but I encourage people to go and listen to people like Andrew Huberman, who, if you don't know, is he's a neuroscientist, I believe, or maybe he's a
I don't know if he's neurobiologist, but he's a PhD level neuroscientist of some sort who is doing a lot of interesting things. He's doing the most important thing I think he's doing is he has the capacity, and not everybody has these super smart PhDs. Ed Grand has this ability to take a really sophisticated, complex concept and go, well, here's what it means. Like, instead of using these fancy words, let me just tell you what we're getting at here. And so he's bringing some of this research that is just hiding, you can go to PubMed or wherever and you can hunt this stuff down. But man, you got to really be pretty scientifically educated to actually know what the hell is being said in them. And he can just go, well, here's really the gist of this, and so this is what we know so far. We know this.
Exactly.
And yeah, he's great for that. And I mean, Joe Rogan, of course, loves having him on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's like a total bro, like he is. And
I rarely miss the JRE. But I do have one more short. I'd feel bad if I didn't mention it. My friend Kevin, who doesn't care about anonymity.
Cool. Shout out to Kevin.
Shout out to Kevin. He said, I feel like it being psilocybin. I feel like it's helped me quit bad habits and change my thinking to be more beneficial for myself. I don't know. It's hard to explain and put into words the wonderful things it has shown me about myself. Definitely growth in a positive way. sometimes I feel like my ability to learn is also enhanced, and I hope this helped. And it does. Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love you, Kevin.
Yes, we
and
do.
Psilocybin clearly loves you because it loves everybody. That's interesting. I was just talking to, I can't remember which episode or where it was, but I was talking to somebody about this idea that, you know, I never recall a time when I was drunk out of my mind when the wisdom of alcohol taught me some important reflections that I needed to consider and ponder philosophically in my life. Whereas I hear that all the time with mushrooms. I mean, my buddy Jeff Karras, he had a trip, and after the trip said, "Oh, I'm a vegetarian now. That trip told me I can't eat meat anymore. I'm not going to kill an animal to sustain my life. And I'm still going to eat meat, but I loved that's what this medicine is doing. It's giving wisdom to the individual that they need to hear. I mean, Joe Rogan talks about all the time. It's always, I had this trip. Yeah. This is what the trip told me. Right.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of that. And I think the universal one is a connectedness, that temporary ego death on sometimes that's just like a mind-blowing, complete, like, it's not just an ego death. It's like a death. You're like, oh my God, I don't even exist anymore.
It's in the awe.
Right.
That's how Terence McKenna explains it.
Yes, that's exactly it. But you come back to who you are. And then in that experience, you're now integrating, you're trying to make sense of it all. And so frequently that experience says things like, you need to take care of yourself, or you need to be kinder to this person, or there's all these things. I'm just like, does heroin do that? No. Heroin's not doing that to anybody. Cocaine's not doing that. None of these super abuse substances are doing that. And, you know, cocaine is Schedule 2. Right? So cocaine's Schedule 2.
I can't get over that.
Well, that's because, like, we use it if we can't stop a nosebleed. We have nasal cocaine, and it literally helps stop a nosebleed.
No way.
But yeah, so that's why some of those that are Schedule 2, whereas, you know, the Schedule 1, there was just no, I mean, we've talked about this, but there's currently, I can't go to the Pyxis in my bedroom and pull out some marijuana or pull out some mushrooms or pull out some mescaline, right? It's just not, it's not currently being used in a medical capacity. So the DEA deemed that means there's no use for it. But we're in the era now where we know that's not true.
Yeah. Right? And Lauren, is it Feringa? Yeah.
Feringa. Yep.
Yeah. Feringa. Yeah. She's heading that off for us. I just can't get over that. It's super cool.
Yeah, she's doing a lot of great work right now. Man, that's looking like that bill might make it. Yeah.
Well, she said that the DEA was the only real,
and they signed off on it.
They've agreed. Yeah. Hell yeah.
So we'll see. That would be great. And you know, I had somebody say to me, "Oh, well, who cares? It's still Schedule 2. It's still legal." And I'm like, "Yeah, but you don't get it. You're getting the DEA to concede some points here and to go, oh, okay, maybe things aren't where they're supposed to be. It will be a big precedent, and it will all be part of the ultimate push that we're all hoping for, which is, if you want to grow and cultivate mushrooms for the purpose of using psilocybin in a therapeutic way, you should be able to do that."
Amen.
You just should. I shouldn't have to worry one bit. I shouldn't have to be calling myself MycoGeeky. Right? I should be able to just say who I am. Right.
True that. I feel very lucky to live in Colorado, where I feel a bit. So yeah. I mean, especially with cannabis. Like, I can't remember. I mean, as a kid, you know, I had a piece confiscated, you know, once or twice, but it's never been. I have friends, you know, from Florida, who are just completely paranoid about.
But it's just so different, isn't it? Like, when you're reading me these stories from people who you've shared fruit with, who get to have this new experience, and like, I think the one that actually got me the most is you're just saying, the straight-laced guy who works in the finance world, he's just a different guy now. Like,
exactly.
That's crazy.
It's
right.
It's
Do you know how many?
It's insane.
There's no drug that Big Pharma has that just makes you better, right?
No.
Psychoactive drugs do not work that way. They numb you out.
Yeah.
They dull you out. They zombify you, right? They, generally speaking, are not making you a whole new person.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
But and that's not to knock anyone who feels like they they need these drugs, and they're I have friends who who are on antidepressants and things, and it's nice to kind of nudge them in the direction, or say if you'd ever weaned off of these and wanted to experiment with psilocybin therapy, do the research. And
so SSRIs, let me use this as an example, right? These drugs were never meant to be on long term. These were short-term drugs. These are 6 months, maybe a year. I don't specifically recall, but they're not lifetime drugs. This isn't like I'm a type 2 diabetic and now I'm on insulin for the rest of my life. It was never meant to be used that way, and it's how it got used.
Yeah.
And so they're just people on it for just too long, and it's a problem.
It's messing with people, right?
It's truly permanently effing with their neurochemistry, for sure. Yeah. Not good stuff.
Maybe mushrooms will be able to heal that.
I'm certain that we're heading in that direction. If someone told me, nope, it's not going to work out, it's going to all go back to the way it was, I'd be like, you're dreaming, dude. There's no way. The snowball's too big. It's rolling down the hill. We just, it can't happen fast enough. But yeah, it's
agreed. We have all these big voices, big respectable voices. Michael Pollan is, people you'd never. I agree. Right. Yeah,
everybody's
everyone
doing
can see it.
Yeah, there's multiple documentaries on Netflix, on Hulu, on Showtime, on HBO. There's a million things on YouTube, social media. People are just finally
getting
going,
out there.
Yeah, okay, you could get it. This isn't just a bunch of wooks in your mom's basement. This is something special that we screwed up on. We missed the boat, and now we're finally speaking out about it. And the old school shroomery dudes, man, they were as low key as you could get. Right? Like they were not trying to get caught. People got made examples of back in the 60s and the 70s. And it's just, that's where all that comes from. And now it's different. Now we're here talking about it.
New world.
Yeah, it's great.
Thanks for that, by the way.
What?
Just being such a big platform, and
people need it. We need it. We need to talk. We need to have these talks.
You need to talk,
yes.
And you're providing that, and I'm sure a lot of people appreciate it. Genuinely, it's there.
Great.
There are so many people talking about it, but never enough. And
we just gotta raise those voices up, right? We just gotta.
Amen.
Keep talking. I remember when I first started this, I had somebody go, well, I mean, this, and you can't do this, and you can't talk about this and this. And I just said, buddy, we're just going to go on, and we're going to act like we're supposed to be talking about it, because between you and me, we're supposed to be talking about it. That's it. I'm not worrying about all that other crap. I'm growing mushrooms because I have ADHD, and it makes my life better. And it does what Big Pharma could never do for me. And I have literally 20 years of trying every thing they threw at me, and didn't work. So there's not a single cell in my body that thinks I shouldn't be doing this. This is what we're supposed to be doing. We're all doing what we're supposed to be doing. Yep. I love that you reached out to people who had new experiences with psilocybin, and they got to give you some perspective. For all the future guests, do that. That's cool. That's a neat thing to do.
I'm thank you to everyone who got back to me.
Anonymous 1, Anonymous 2, Anonymous 3, and Kevin. Shout out to you guys.
Yes. Hell yeah. I'm doing a giveaway by the time this comes out. I will be doing an Instagram giveaway. I'm giving away some genetics I've been working on for quite a while, and some freeze-dried candies. So
Oh, well,
Yeah.
let me tell you this. Geeky doesn't enter contests because I feel like it's not fair. I don't know why I think that. That's my ego, but I'm entering that contest because I want some of them Skittles.
I do. I gotta. Oh, did I turn my microphone off? Oh,
no,
nope.
No, you're good.
Stop. Oh, okay.
You're there.
Sorry, my Siri went off.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So I have to touch on this. I did win a contest through Fungi Mycology. He's the homie, by the way. Like, I've been hitting up this dude since. Yeah, he's love that guy. So I won a contest, and I received my package the other day. And it's good form to like post what you won on IG, and I want to, but I'm like, I don't know if I should. Like, I mean, I feel
is the package too good?
It was.
Yeah, just ask
thank
them.
you so much. Yeah, it's really, really good. And
I've had a couple of those where I'm like, oh, okay, this is way more than I'm gonna use, buddy. But I really appreciate the gesture.
And I really do. I'm particularly stoked about the small black pyramid. So appreciate you. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Lots of cool stuff. And I probably will post it on like my story or something, and then it'll go away in a day.
Yeah.
But
that's what I've been doing. The fruit, I don't do it too often just because I'm so visible. And I'm not trying to, I think a lot of these people that are reporting, I don't think they're in the community. I don't think it's like haters within the community. I think it's just these randos who, for whatever reason, got nothing better to do but just stalk people like us that they have an opinion about. And I mean, Lauren kind of touched on it a little bit with that little moms group. And they just, a lot of people are looking for a scapegoat. They're looking for someone to blame. And it's not necessarily appropriate. But yeah, anyway, so I usually don't post a lot of fruit pics, but my thinking these days is I'll put it up for a few days or a week, and then it just goes away. And stories. I make sure
I was my account was suspended once for knock on wood for 24 hours, and I was able to get it reinstated because I feel like if your page is educational and you make sure that everyone knows you're not selling anything, and you don't show fruits that are not connected to people who show like dry fruits and things, and
dried fruits is the wrong play. Yes,
very wrong play.
Or dried fruits packaged, definitely.
Definitely no bueno. So that's why I'm kind of worried to share my prize winnings. But I've seen people doing that. The story.
Do the stories and then add one of the filters on it.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Add a filter, because I have a hunch. I think the AI then isn't quite relating to that story the same way as if it was just the raw footage. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Try that. See if that works. But in general, you just gotta, as you build that following and that presence, you work so hard to connect with all these people. Because man, maybe my first 1,500 people, you got where you play the whole I'll follow you, then they'll follow me kind of game. And then I just got sick of doing that. So I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I want my growth to be organic. And it just comes from talking to people, answering people's questions, commenting on a post here and there. And so you don't want to lose that.
Exactly.
You work hard
Man,
for
I'm knocking on wood every day. Do not want to lose that, because my growth, I think I started my IG in 2020 and my basement culture, and it's all just been very slow organic growth.
By the way, I don't think I've ever said this, but that name, basement culture, that's a fresh, cool,
thank you,
slick name, dude. That is
got so many
different
on a few
levels.
Meanings. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I like it.
Yeah, my friends were like, I didn't know how I felt about it. Thank you.
No, that's great. If they're wrong, if they think that's not cool.
Well, they're like, at first I didn't really get it, but now I get it. Like it's the way. I'm like,
as a guy down here working in his basement with a bunch of cultures, it works for me. Yes.
And it's like counterculture, and
it's got that vibe. Totally has that vibe. Yeah. All right, so the new website that your partners worked diligently on, it's basement slash
It's
or dash
it's basement dash culture.com.
.com. That
Yeah.
easy. Yep.
Yeah.
Good looking website.
And I thank you so much for bringing that back up. We will have a coupon code. It'll be MycoGeeky.
Cool.
Anyone who's stuck this long, MycoGeeky, like 25% off your whole order. Awesome. And that will be in the works by the time this goes up. Thank you again so much for having me on.
My pleasure. I mean, look, this is what I'm doing. There's a lot of people out there, and I'm just trying to give platforms and help introduce the greater community to just the people that I like, that seem to be doing it for the right reasons. There's a lot of people out there doing it for the wrong reasons. And so, yeah, we gotta give voices rather than worry about, I don't spend all day telling everybody who's the bad vendor. I'm just spending all day telling people who are the good people, who are
raising
here for the right reasons. Yes.
I'm about that.
Yes.
I'm about that.
Exactly. Cool. Well, I mean, I can't rock that Only Fungi shirt, but I'm sure there's a bunch of ladies out there who will.
Can.
Nah, I can't, man. I'm like, it don't work.
We'll like make a Roosters shirt for the guys.
Sure.
I'll figure something out.
Yeah. But you got other cool shirts. That's all good. I think I'm gonna have to get the Terrence McKenna mug though. That's kind of cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on. I'm sure it won't be the last time. Keep us updated. You guys, go check our website out. If you stayed on this long, MycoGeeky for a nice little discount on the purchase. Try some of her stuff out. She's actually doing the work. She is not a culture vulture. She is a true passionate cultivator. And so, these are the people, these are who you want to be getting your genetics from, for sure.
Thanks.
All right, take care. And man, keep those little feedback forms coming. I love those. I'm going to have to start thinking about, it would be really cool if even every podcast I had a couple of those pop up on the screen or something like that. So
that would be
I think
cool.
we need to hear more of that, all the different people that are doing this.
Or you could even have some of your listeners send in submissions, or even like voice memo submissions, or anyone listening. It's like, I've had an experience. Send it to MycoGeeky. Write him a voice memo, send it to him on IG. Yeah. That would be really cool, actually.
You gotta do that. Yeah, because I mean, so my little sterilizers I sell, right? I sell them to everybody. Every walk of life, I think I've sold to at least 40 plus of the states. There are definitely some states I sell to more regularly than others. But I mean, we're talking everything from homeless, trailer park, middle class, apartments, filthy rich people. They're all growing mushrooms in their basement right now.
Yeah, I believe it.
That's the basement culture. I don't care what you do or who you are, race, gender, creed, class, anything, because everybody's got problems.
Yeah.
And everybody's got issues that seem to be significantly aided and assisted by using psilocybin in a therapeutic way. So psilocybin for the win.
Power to the people.
All right, guys, that was Casey Strange of Basement Culture. Hope you guys enjoyed getting a chance to get to know her. I really liked I thought that was such a cool idea, having reaching out to people who you've shared fruit with, people who are new to the psychedelic experience, who are new to using psilocybin as medicine, and kind of getting some feedback. It was really cool hearing that. So thank you so much for doing that, Casey. I'll look forward to talking to you again. And, we did it. Myco Monday night is coming to a close. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate it. If you love what I'm doing, please consider supporting me on Patreon. Man, I'm telling you, YouTube just keeps making it easier and easier, for me to get demonetized. I don't know what I got to do. Think I'm hitting the radar at this point. So anyway, any support I get on Patreon is greatly appreciated. It keeps me going. I'm having a good time. I'm getting into a flow, feeling like I'm learning and growing. And, I really look forward to seeing where I'm going to be here in another year. Speaking of another year, we got the 1 year anniversary coming up, guys. We got a special guest. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be all the way live. That's going to be July 30th. So yeah, next Monday, we're going to go live, real live. So look forward to seeing you guys then. Should be a good time. All you guys, I appreciate you sticking around and, you know, watching me grow and develop and getting to know all the people that I've had on the show. I really appreciate it. So see you next week for that event. That should be a good time. Until then, grow some mushrooms.